Hello, Morongo Basin, and listeners around the world online at Z107.7fm.com. Here is the Z107.7 local news for Monday, July 14th, 2025. A suspicious person in an apartment complex parking lot was allegedly in possession of brass knuckles and was discovered to be the suspect in a recent law enforcement vehicle pursuit. On Tuesday, San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies responded to a report of a suspicious person in the parking lot of an apartment complex in the 6400 block of El Dorado Avenue in Yucca Valley. Deputies say that Jeremiah Poston, a 24-year-old resident of Yucca Valley, was tampering with vehicles in the parking lot. Deputies say that when they arrived, Poston ran from a black GMC Yukon toward the apartment complex. Deputies identified the Yukon as a vehicle that had been involved in a vehicle pursuit on July 1st. Deputies located Poston hiding behind the fence of a residence and positively identified him as the driver during the earlier pursuit. Deputies took Poston into custody and say he was found with brass knuckles. Jeremiah Poston was arrested for investigation into evading law enforcement with disregard of public safety and the possession of brass knuckles. He is being held at the West Valley Detention Center on $30,000 bail. A report of a disturbance at High Desert Medical Center led to one arrest for investigation into battery and a second unrelated arrest. Early Friday morning, San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies responded to a report of a disturbance at High Desert Medical Center in Joshua Tree. Deputies say that a patient, identified as William Judge, 40, became combative with security and staff members and had been restrained by staff. No injuries were reported and Judge was taken into custody without any further incident. While at the hospital, security staff told deputies that Saul Esquivel, 45, had been trespassing on hospital property. Deputies contacted Esquivel and learned that he had an active warrant for his arrest, issued by the Los Angeles County Probation Department. He was taken into custody. William Judge was arrested on suspicion of battery and has been released on bail. Saul Esquivel was arrested on suspicion of trespassing and has been released on bail. After 9 continuances, the case concerning a hit and run from last year will move forward in court. Here is reporter Adeline J. Wells with that and more.
Troy Reynolds, the suspect in a January 2024 hit-and-run collision that killed Yucca Valley teenager Joshua Barreras, returned to court on Friday morning for an early disposition hearing. The Sheriff's Department identified Reynolds following a 4-week investigation. He turned himself into the Joshua Tree Courthouse last February and entered a plea of not guilty. The case has been continued 9 times since then, with attorneys attempting to find a resolution. District Attorney Jason Gelflow was present, as was Attorney James Rogan for the defense. Both parties stepped out of the courtroom with Judge Sarah Oliver twice for chambers conferences to review potential resolutions, including offers and counteroffers. After their second return, Judge Oliver expressed that a resolution had not yet been reached and that she wanted the case to move forward following several delays. Both attorneys confirmed that there were still ongoing discussions. Attorney Rogan noted that while his office had become involved only recently, the court made it clear they wanted the case to proceed. Judge Oliver scheduled a preliminary hearing for August 26th and a preliminary hearing for August 28th. Troy Reynolds is charged with felony hit and run resulting in permanent injury or death. He is currently out on $500,000 bail. Reporting for Z107.7, this is Adeline J. Wells.
The Landers Homestead Valley Association will hold their monthly meeting today at 5 p.m. Annalise Kuiper has a look at their agenda.
Earlier this year, the board received a letter from the California State Department of Justice that their charitable organization registration had lapsed due to non-compliance since 2019. At the meeting, there will be a state charitable registration update regarding the reinstatement of the association. The Landers Trading Post and Thrift Store is set to reopen. The exact date will be discussed. There will be public safety and legislative reports by Sergeant Jacob Naylor of the Morongo Basin Sheriff's Department, by Bighorn Desert View Water Agency General Manager and Mojave Water Agency Director Marina West, and by 3rd District County Supervisor Dawn Rouse Field Representative Glenn Harris. There will be several special committee reports on Dark Skies community education, community cleanups, social media, etc. Located at Belfield Hall 58380 Ricci Road, just east of Landers Post Office, the meeting begins at 5 p.m. As always, the public is most welcome to attend. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Annalise Kuiper.
At tomorrow's meeting of the Yucca Valley Town Council, there will be a public hearing on approving fire risk designations that were received from CAL FIRE and the California State Fire Marshal. The town cannot reduce the severity of the designation before approval, but it can increase the severity designation based on their local understanding of specific geography. The Town Council will also receive reports on the 4th of July fireworks event, which was severely delayed and diminished owing to failures the town blamed on the contractor. The town will also receive an update on the Yucca Valley Animal Shelter's operational review. This will be the first Town Council session to discuss the shelter, since allegations of mistreatment were lobbied against the shelter for the treatment of the dog now known as Howdy. Reporter Adeline J. Wells will have an update on the shelter and Howdy in tomorrow's newscast. Finally, at tomorrow's meeting, the town will receive an update on the construction of the Yucca Valley Aquatic Recreation Center. The Yucca Valley Town Council meets in public session Tuesday at 5 p.m. at the Yucca Valley Community Center. Tomorrow's regularly scheduled meeting of the 29 Palms Planning Commission has been canceled. The city did not provide a specific reason for the cancellation and says that the Planning Commission will meet next on August 5th. And finally, the Native American Land Conservancy will be holding their Creative Landscapes Art Day this Friday at 10 a.m. at Hunat Pak Pihaka, or Bearswater, in Morongo Valley. Reporter and occasional NALC volunteer Gabriel Hart takes a closer look at this opportunity to connect to the land through art.
This creative workshop is designed for participants to start thinking creatively about their relationship to the land through watercolor painting. Participants will have freedom to paint any subject matter they wish, using the landscape at Hunat Pak Pihaka as inspiration. NALC program staff member Amber Davis is a talented watercolor artist who will be leading the workshop, using the medium of watercolor to acknowledge the stream that runs through the preserve year-round and the oasis of life it provides despite the harsh desert summer. NALC program coordinator Paisley Ramstead says, quote, "The greater goal is to connect with the land in new ways and remember that land stewardship is not just picking weeds, but also relating to and being mindful of our landscapes in all that we do," unquote. In addition to leaving with a handmade piece of art, attendees will also be treated to a tour of Hunat Pak Pihaka. As the preserve is closed to the public, attending events on-site or volunteering with the NALC is the best way for the general public to access the space. Volunteer events will resume in the fall. Registration for this event will close on Wednesday, July 16th. For a registration link, please visit this story at Z107.7fm.com. Reporting for Z107.7, I'm Gabriel Hart.
That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear about news happening, let us know. Email us at tips@z1077fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z1077 Local News, I'm News Director Jeff Harmatz.